still hasn't been decided whether or not Deshaun is going to
Yeah.
play. Where do you fall on that?
Yeah, I think organizationally we're still working through it at the end of the day. Those are decisions you don't want to rush. You want to make sure that you make decisions that are, one, best interest of the team and best interest of the player. So we're going to continue to look at it, and Kevin's got a lot of experience doing this stuff, so he's got a great feel for us, our organization, our team, and in terms of those decisions, and it'll be a group discussion to finalize.
You were quoted on ESPN, David Graziano's reported that you said he needs live reps.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, I think
not in the game.
no, yeah, I think that's what when I say that I mean like practice, especially being out practicing, throwing the ball around like he's doing. I think is great for him, and those reps of getting back into the flow against, like, we got a great defense, so seeing those reps, seeing those different looks that our defense gives them, and being able to stack those reps on top of each other are huge for him. And then anything in the preseason that if we decide to go that direction in the preseason, those will be bonus reps for him on top of that.
Ken, where do you feel like he is at in terms of where you thought he might be, basically 8 practices in terms of the arm, the arm strength, the accuracy, all of that?
Yeah, no, I think he's progressing well for us. I think he's doing a really good job, one, managing his body, managing his shoulder, having great open communication with us to make sure, it feels like it's in the right space for him so he can go out and play confident. But physically out there throwing it, I think, you saw him, get some balls vertically downfield throughout camp, which is very encouraging to see and a great positive for us. And you see him making, all the throws necessary that we need to make within the system. And, to Tony's point, like, the more he practices and the more he sees those live reps in practice, the more comfortable he's going to get kind of as we go right here.
During the off-season program, it looked like the throws were a little shorter than we're starting to see now. Was that kind of part of the plan all along to stretch him out in increments with the length of the throws? He had a couple deep balls yesterday and things like that. Yeah,
and in that final mini camp, the encouraging thing going all the way back there is he did let one out there in that mini camp, kind of the first throwing session in a team period. So that's always the thing you look at just to make sure, hey, do we need to put a cap on the amount of yards he's throwing, the amount of total throws he's making in practice. Those are all things that are discussed, internally with us, with the medical staff and us as coaches. And right now, I think we're in a good spot in terms of, the making the width of the field throws, length of the field throws, just making sure our volume number is an appropriate number to make sure, we continue to ramp him up in a positive fashion.
Is that something that he has to develop absolute confidence in his arm to be able to just rip it, and has he done that yet where he has just really full on tried to attempt the biggest ball that he can?
No, that's a good question, and I don't want to speak for him. Obviously, I think that's something that he can attest to, but from my experience and just from coaching the position, I think it's a lot of the position in general is about confidence, and going out and doing it and repping it and, hey, making a mistake or making a good play and learning from those things and growing from those things. So I think part of that is always just the confidence of going out, hey, can I fit this into this window in practice? And that's where you learn, can I do it in the game, So you do want to obviously play practice like a game and make it game-like, but also, you're gonna try to do some things to see, hey, can I do that in the game so it's not the first time? And I think that's the feel he's continuing to get within what we're doing systematically.
He's not quite there yet to that 100%.
No, I haven't seen him have any issues in terms of not being 100% or anything like that. I think he's doing a very good job. It seems like he's feeling well throwing the football. I'm more talking about just, hey, with the different stuff we're doing, just making sure, hey, that feel of this throw, driving it into this window and those types of things. I don't see any issue with any type of arm stuff right now. And again, it's it's a thing that's going to continue. You don't want to mess around with a quarterback's shoulder, an elbow, or anything like that. That's how they do their job. So we're going to continue to be smart with them and continue to evaluate day by day to make sure we're doing the right things.
How do you feel about Kevin calling plays?
Look, at the end of the day, from day one, in this process of interviewing and all that, Kev was very upfront and honest about everything, and you don't always get that, in the league, and he was very, very upfront, and so I knew it going in that there was going to be a process to go through, and at the end of the day, I want to win football games, and Kevin's a fantastic play caller, and I feel good about where we're at.
Did he make that decision in the interview?
No. I think that was, and again, Kevin could kind of attest, where his decision thought process was and where his state of mind was in terms of making that decision. I just know there was very open communication with me from him throughout the entire process, from the interview process to today.
Were you disappointed?
I think at the end of the day, look, this was a great opportunity to come to a great organization, work with Kevin, which I've absolutely loved. And this is something that, again, I think with that open communication and knowing, from the start, kind of what he's thinking and everything, that's what you appreciate, as an employee, in an organization. And I thought, at the end of the day, he decided to make that decision. I'm 100% behind him, and we're ready to roll.
So, as somebody who's called plays before, what changes for you in terms of the preparation and the game day?
No, it's a good question. I think it's a new role for me, to be perfectly honest. To be the coordinator with the head coach calling it. I've always worked for defensive guys. So there will be that feeling out process kind of as we go, which is great to have these preseason games to get that feel and get that rhythm. But it allows me to definitely, be as involved as humanly possible with the game plan and putting the plan together for us. And then at the same time, also really be able to focus on, our quarterback room and being prepared for meetings and being prepared for when they step out on the field in practice and on game day.
Will you be up or down on game day?
That's going to be again, we'll kind of go through the preseason. As of right now, I'm seeing me being down on game days, but obviously that could change. But right now I'll be down, and we'll evaluate, see how that goes during the preseason.
When we talked to Amari, he mentioned he likes how fast you want to run things. Is bringing some up-tempo to the system, is that something you really want to do?
I think the stress to our players is, let's see how many plays we can run in a game. We want to run plays. The more opportunity we got on the field, the more opportunity you have to score points. That doesn't necessarily mean no huddle either. That means, hey, when we are huddling, get in and out of the huddle with a great tempo. Give us as much time at the line and run as many plays as possible. Doesn't mean mixing up the tempo. It could mean tempo, but that also depends on the game a little bit at times as well. So it's going to be one of those things where we've always got that ability, to attack a defense in different ways. But we want to get up there and when we are huddling, be in and out of the huddle with a great tempo. Really constantly be putting pressure on the defense with us, whether it's on the line, huddle, whatever that may be. Middle of the game, 2 minute, and constantly be putting that pressure on the defense.
What type of challenges have been here in camp where you had Jerry out a little bit, and then he comes back, and now Elijah is out for a little bit here. Just what type of challenge does that present you as you're trying to get this offense going in time for the season?
I think at the end of the day, it allows you to kind of see what else you have and develop your roster. But as we work these guys in, I think there's still a lot of good time, and they're veteran guys. They've got great experience and great feel. So we'll just constantly work them in as we go, and that's part of the game. I mean, you saw that with this team last year, and what we had to go through last year as an organization, as a team, and guys have to step up and be ready to go when their number's called.
Ken, what kind of resource do you think Mike Vrabel is for your tight ends and also the coaches who are working with that position?
It's fantastic having him with us, and it's great having him in the offensive room. really as a defensive coach who really takes the time to learn your offense and learn your system, and now can provide you insight into defenses within what you do systematically is awesome. And I think having him around has been great for us early on, and the different insight that he provides, and he's not afraid to speak up, which is also great, and so love having him around. I think that's a huge resource for us, not only as an offensive staff but as an organization, and just value his opinion a tremendous amount. Yep.
Thanks a lot, Ken.
Yep, no problem, guys.
Take any notes from the Hall of Fame game the other night on how they were doing the kickoff?
Yeah, it was pretty much what I expected. I don't anticipate a lot of I would say variety and scheme showing up in these games. A lot of young guys playing in that game as well. So yeah, it was pretty much what I expected.
But do you see the possibility of a lot of exotic creativity?
Yeah, and I think that I think teams are, or I think coaches' teams are gonna save a lot of their schematics for the regular season. I don't think you'll see a lot of variety in the preseason games.
From you too.
I don't think I'll show too much.
Is there a bit of risk there to kind of debut something in the regular season and we haven't maybe gotten a live reps against another team?
Yeah, and I think also it depends on your personnel, who's playing in the game. I think that you can get into using maybe some more like a little bit more complex in the scheme if you have guys that can execute it, if that makes sense.
As you're going along, are you getting even more creative and the possibilities are sort of endless? Do you lay awake at night and think, oh geez, maybe we could try this?
Yeah, there's a lot of thought has gone into it, a lot of studying. We've gained a lot of information from the first week and a half of camp through the drill work that we've done with the timing and the spacing. So just trying to, I guess you would say, apply it to the next practice. Like yesterday, there were some things that I saw in our practice period that I didn't love. So going to try a few different things today. So, and especially, and it helps whenever we're working in pads to really get the feel for it. So we'll be in pads today. We'll be working it today.
You're still auditioning 8 to 10 returners, and you don't even have Hines in there yet.
Yeah.
So, do you want to whittle that down, or could you go through the season with a rotation of 8?
We just want to have depth. We want everyone to understand the play and how it's ran. In the event that we would have to use one of the down the line guys that aren't at the top, have to get in there. We want those guys to have experience. So we're just trying to train as many guys as possible at this point.
Would you settle on 2? Would you settle on 2 when the season opens?
Yeah, I would think, yeah.
Have you seen anybody sort of embrace this opportunity? I hear you yell Sam Kamara's name a lot. Guys like that. Is there anybody that stood out with this kickoff opportunity?
I think the best thing with our team right now with this play is that everyone is all hands on deck. Everyone is willing to do anything asked, and that's all you can ask for. Is our team has bought into this unique change of a play that is going to be able to impact games. To me, that's the biggest thing for us. Is our guys we want to be a really good football team. So if we're going to do that, you got to be willing to do whatever it takes for us to win. So if that means playing on another special teams unit or both, then that's what it's going to have to take. And I think to your question, yes, everyone has.
With Dustin, not trying to kick it out of the end zone every time anymore, what kind of adjustment is that for him to have to really place this kickoff?
Yeah, I think that we're working out of some different approaches with him, whether it be a 3-step, a 5-step, just different ball placement. Yeah, so we're working a bunch of different things. There wasn't a lot of times where I asked him to bang touchbacks last year, but it is hard to kick in our stadium. There's a lot of wind that factors into it, so. Yeah, the placement is definitely going to be a big point of emphasis for us.
Justin,
Okay. When you guys talked, I guess, about with the new rules, like possibly playing players in the preseason games that maybe wouldn't play in years past, like just to get them reps in that you guys are thinking are going to use?
Yeah, I think that we're trying to gain as much information in our practice settings. So if we're not playing certain guys or certain guys are being stressed too much on defense that wouldn't normally play as much, don't have to play as many reps for me. Just trying to find that balance and go from there. But yeah, you'll probably see some different people that haven't really normally played as much in the preseason, especially as we move along.
Hey, Justin Hardy came here as a two-time special teams captain.
Yeah.
What have you made of him in your scheme?
So I've coached against him for a number of years. Tough kid, hard worker. I would say he is super competitive. I don't know if anybody watched the one-on-one drills we did back at the Greenbrier, but he does not like to lose. He's been great for our meeting rooms. He's vocal, good communicator. I'm really excited to have him.
But when you go with a couple of linemen on the kickoff, right, the blocking, the return unit, you got a couple of big bodies out there. Like, do you have to balance the benefit of, okay, I got this bigger guy who maybe can block like a James Hudson versus, we're in a little bit of space. It might be tougher for
sure.
Guy.
Yeah, and some of the things we're doing, we have guys out there to give a look. Maybe not necessarily that they're going to be a part of that unit, things like that. But yeah, whenever you're trying to, I guess you put pieces to the puzzle, you're always taking into account the skill set of that player, right? Ideally, you don't want to have a guy that's not good in space, but unfortunately for them, the kicking game is about playing in space. A lot of it is. So, yeah, we're just trying to figure out who to play and where and who can play the techniques. So.
Going back to Justin for a second.
Yeah.
Kicking in the stadium because of the challenges that presents. How does he prepare for the kickoff with those? I guess with all the elements and everything.
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty windy here in practice too. Especially with all the things that have gone down and the winds coming through, so he'll be able to adjust. Those guys, I hope he can adjust.
At the Greenbrier, Kevin said you and he discussed the possibility of a kickoff specialist, and you decided not to go ahead with it. So explain why.
Each roster spot's pretty valuable. Look, we have a professional kicker that's here to kick, so. I don't know if we need to roster two of them.
Training a defensive player.
Oh, you're saying training a defensive player?
Yeah, that's what
I mean. Yeah, for me, obviously, if kickers kick, right? Kickers kick, and position players play their position. There's a lot more stress and strain on your body that kicking presents than not, to me. Like last year, we end up playing it. Dustin gets nicked up. Corey comes in. He doesn't normally kick off. That's what his quad tightened up. So you don't want to if you don't kick all the time, it's a foreign movement to your body that you're not used to. It'd be like going out, say you haven't bench pressed, right? And if you haven't bench pressed in 5 years and you got in bench press, you're gonna be sore.
But that's if you train them to do it, they get.
But they're
practice.
not. Yeah. And in the same sense, they're not. At the end of the day, they're not professional kickers. That'd be my biggest argument, I think. And I wouldn't want to risk, DeAnthony Bell kicking off because I need him I need him to play for me. That's my personal. And yeah, I'll probably just stop talking.
But how much do you like the experiential learning rooms, and how much do you wish, as a player, you would have had something like that where you can stand up and learn and watch?
Yeah.
And all that?
Jimmy and Dee did an incredible job with our complex. Our guys are very fortunate for the resources they have to use and to prepare with. It's a great It's a great way to teach and a great way to learn. So, yeah, I would love to have had something like that.
He didn't retire that long ago. Is it vastly different now for a player with all the technology, everything else that comes with it?
It's a lot different. It's a lot different. I mean, our guys are being every movement they make, they're being tracked at practice. Yardage, speeds, and recovery. Like, we didn't have any of that. It was just go play. 2-a-days, full pads. And then I'll joke with our players, like when we actually used to play real football, like we actually practiced twice a day in full pads. Like, I couldn't even imagine having 2 full padded practices in one day now. Like, guys would look at you like you're crazy.
But do you think you were tired?
Say that again?
I mean, since it was so normal, do you think that's his job?
Yeah, I would say this. Like, I'm a firm believer in, like, hard work, and your body, like, builds a callus when you work and you practice hard and long. I think that there's something to be said about how you practice, and I think that obviously you're building in your conditioning as well. Like, you don't just want to get out of practice healthy. Like, you're trying to get ready for the season. You're trying to put your team in a position to play at a high level late in the game. That's how the best teams are the teams that can play the hardest, the longest, and typically those are the teams that practice the hardest. Not necessarily the longest, but practice the hardest.
Any idea? A couple more?
I heard your group in particular likes the golf simulator, and you guys have been using that. What can those different things, not super football oriented, do for your group?
Schwartz was giving our specialist a hard time about being in the golf simulator. Yeah, I think all those things are great. I think that was a great way. The Greenbrier was great for us to be like around each other and just to be almost like forced to hang out with one another. A number of guys said they have never spent that much time with their teammates. I thought that was obviously that's a reason why we like going down there. So, and I think that things like that around the building when there's time off are good to have.
Any idea when Hines will help you out?
I hope soon. He's working hard and he's looked good in everything I've seen him do. So, hopefully it's not too much longer.
Have you liked how he's worked with the returners though? At the Greenberg, he was on the field coaching and kind of giving tips. How did you like that from him?
Yeah, I mean, he's been really with me since 2018. Very good communicator. He started out, he didn't get it right away, so there was a big learning curve. He had a couple muffs early in the preseason his rookie year. He kept working at it, had an opportunity middle of his rookie season, and then came along and ended up earning that job and had a lot of production for us. But really good hard worker that is just trying to help those guys, and educate them on the position really.
Thanks.
Thanks.